Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self realization. Please subscribe for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently studying the book Yoga Essays for Self Improvement, authored by Swami Jyotirmayananda ji, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. And it's a very profound book because it covers a lot of very pertinent topics in today's material and stressful world. We are currently exploring the topic how to remove anxiety, which is a big problem in today's world. To develop the art, try to keep the mind free of all cares, if for only a short time. Allow yourself to come in touch with the eternal principle, not your ego principle. So, to be happy, learn to deface the ego. That is, you should not be clinging to anything that your ego has fabricated, such as your bank balance, relationships, promises of tomorrow, expectations. Nothing of this nature should support you. You are not dependent on these things. On the path of yoga, you train yourself to understand that there is nothing secure in this world. When the very body we possess is one day going to depart, what can we say is permanent? Even the very ground you stand on is supported by the thousand-headed cobra, Sheshnag, which is transient, constantly moving, and in a process of change. In the beginning, this may seem painful because no one likes to face the insecurity of things that support him. But you need not wait until you are disillusioned. That brings frustration. Rather, allow your mind to understand that your parents' love for you is illusory. A relative love for you is illusory. Your friends' support is illusory. Your money support is illusory. Nothing around you can really be a support, and therefore discard them all just for a while and cling to the divine self. That art has to be promoted. Internally, externally, you may behave normally, but internally, you should know that only God is to be relied upon. The next point in overcoming anxiety is not to keep to yourself in the moment of anxiety. Learn to flow out of yourself. When their minds are perplexed, most people shut their doors and will not talk to anyone. Their negative nature wants them to be more involved in negativity. When you swing to the negativity within you begins to overpower you, overwhelm you. It is much like a frog that is close to the mouth of a snake. The frog realizes the snake is going to grab it, but somehow it becomes fascinated by its eyes and moves closer and closer. So, too, whenever the mind tends to be a little negative, your whole nature takes up the project of supporting that negativity and plunges into it with great involvement. This is a great error that must be avoided. Consequently, during such times, try to come out of yourself and perform some selfless service. And smile, even if it is artificial. Do not communicate your anxieties to others. To do so is another great error, as that puts you into double trouble. That is, firstly, you are already involved in reaping some negative karma, and secondly, by communicating your negativity to others, you are making others negative, which only increases your negative karma. Such is the law. In other words, anxiety is like a disease. A person catches cold, and if he is not careful, he then infects others also. So, do not be like those who carry anxious thoughts and communicate them to others. You tell your neighbor, "Didn't you read that a killer is loose?" The neighbor then becomes intensely frightened, burdened with great anxiety, while you have unburdened your own mind. Beware of creating that bad association and communicating anxiety to others. Rather, keep your anxiety to yourself and dissipate your negativity by becoming involved in some form of creative work, preferably selfless action, which would cure you because you'll feel happy about it, contributing and doing things that are for the good of others. Four principles to be remembered in yoga are selfless service, good association or satsanga, study of scriptures, and the righteous path. If you take recourse to these wonderful projects, then your mental energy becomes so involved in them that you have no room for anxiety. You must also develop the ability to see things in their right proportion. Don't exaggerate. A story is told about a poor person who was without shoes. Entering a temple with the idea of praying to God to give him shoes, he immediately noticed a person wrapped in meditation without legs. He then realized that all he lacked were shoes. Here is someone who lacks his very legs. So, why should he make such a fuss about such a little need? Shouldn't he be pleased with his shoeless legs? Therefore, seeing things in proportion and realizing you are more fortunate than many allows you to appreciate what you have been given in the divine plan. In this way, you do not allow your mind to enter into vain anxiety. Along these same lines, Raja Yoga says that Prakriti or nature flows on, implying that as you evolve, your very ego changes. Certain things that are not known to you now, certain capacities, talents, and qualities will evolve. If you qualify yourself for it, certain powers that you did not know about will emerge out of your inner personality. Many times you have talents that once they come out, you realize the potential within you. As you flow on, nature is ready to supply you with many wondrous things. So do not worry about the future. The future will take care of itself. You also must realize that certain things which are now distressing to your ego will not be so distressed tomorrow. Instead of allowing your mind to be vexed with what is going to happen in the future, learn the art of living your daily life with fullness and perfect balance. As time passes, those things that were the cause of worry disappear, and you realize that you face a totally different predicament and different circumstances. So, by the movement of integral yoga, by the practice of Jnana Yoga or inquiry, Bhakti Yoga, devotion, Raja Yoga, meditation, and Karma Yoga, selfless action, you are preparing your mind to face the eternal universal life. When you learn this art, ego and its restlessness begin to fade. No matter how anxious your mind may be, no matter how agitated your ego may be, once you have opened yourself up to the eternal life and have begun to assert that you are not a little personality but the eternal self, then all those causes of anxiety melt away. Thus, in brief, to overcome anxiety, simplify your life. Do not multiply your wants. Do not rehearse a calamity, for it is invariably much less severe than what it was imagined to be. See things in their due proportion. Develop the spirit of faith and surrender and balance. Integrate your personality day by day. Also, take recourse to satsanga or good association and keep yourself busy. Do not keep yourself confined to your own ego. Flow out of yourself, serve humanity, learn the art of staying happy so you will by being busy, you won't have time to stay anxious. Finally, develop insight into the structure of the subconscious and gradually change that worrying habit. Fill your mind with positive impressions so that each time nature creates a situation for anxiety, immediately your intellect brushes it aside. You have nothing to be anxious about. So train your mind to see clearly and not become overwhelmed by petty things. Transcend them. Also, understand those qualities that are contrary to anxiety: calmness of mind, cheerfulness, open heartedness, joyousness, courage, and hope. Promote them all. If you free yourself of anxiety, your mind becomes a garden of spiritual qualities, a citadel of the divine self. So, with this, we conclude our satsang for today, and tomorrow we will pick up another profound topic: the practice of balance of mind, keeping equanimity under all conditions. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.